My name is Amelie and I studied health promotion at Ara. Health promotion is about improving the health of whole communities. We look at the real causes behind poor health, then design programs, campaigns and partnerships that help people live healthier, safer lives. I liked that health promotion was a mix of nutrition, physical activity and public health all in one. During my time at Ara, I enjoyed the practical, hands-on experience. My tutors were very supportive because they made time for each student. While studying, I did 2 placements, one at the National Public Health Service doing a report on alcohol harm and another at Pegasus Health doing a Plastic Free July campaign. It was amazing. I got to see my own research and ideas in the final report that was published. These placements allowed me to make real industry connections and gain relevant work-ready skills. After study, I want to pursue a career in health promotion. I'm specifically interested in disease prevention and community development. If you're looking at studying health promotion, it's not limited to one area. Health promotion is diverse and can look different for everyone.
My name is Sanat Chaudhary and I come from New Delhi, India. I'm currently studying Master of Sustainable Practices at ARA. I've been finding it wholesome actually, yeah, it's been quite fulfilling. There's a holistic approach where everyone's from different backgrounds, learning a lot, yeah, definitely out of my comfort zone. I think the education system's a little different where I come from, so there's a lot of theory involved, but what we see here, it's a lot of research, there's a lot of practical approach, and there's all sorts of projects that we're doing in a group and an individual space as well. It's been such a great experience because everyone's coming from different backgrounds, everyone has so much to give into the discussions. It's been amazing so far. Oh, highlights. It's not just studying. So I made a lot of friends here even. I think going to social clubs and making friends while I'm playing badminton.
Hello everyone, can you see me? Hello? Mm. Okay, there you go. Can you see me? Mm. Hello everyone, my name is Yani and I am the Regional Marketing Executive for Yes Education. We're just waiting. I think Monique already joined, so let me just go ahead and allow her to talk. So hello Monique, how are you doing?
Hello, kia ora, everyone. I'm good, thank you.
Nice to see you, and thank you so much for this webinar, Monique. So we're just waiting for others. Maybe we can start in a few minutes. I'm really glad you're here. Right now we have 8 participants. Let me make you as a panelist and also a co-host.
Thank you. And can you see my video? Like, can you see me?
No, no, I think your camera is off. Let me fix that as well. One moment. There you go. Can you open your camera, Monique? Mm, okay. Okay, there you go. Hello, Monique. Nice seeing you. We have here right now Pauline, our country head for Yes Education, and also 6 attendees from our partnered agents.
Kia ora, everyone. Lovely to see you.
Kia ora, Monique.
Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for all your efforts in arranging this. It's great to get a chance to connect with everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely. So,
you.
Yanni will be hosting this webinar alongside you. So, but I'll be a fly on the wall, and definitely I'll also be checking questions, clarifications from our attendees. But yeah, this is recorded, and I think some of the attendees will just be joining as we start. So yeah, I'll give the floor to both of you ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pao, and thank you again, Monique, for joining. And also, thank you so much for all of our attendees for joining us today. We have a really exciting school to introduce. But before we begin, this webinar will run for approximately 1.5 hours. Please use the chat box as you can see on your below screen. All throughout the session, drop any questions there, and we will collect them all and answer them for our Q&A portion at the end. We're also recording today's session, so we will send the link to all participants, and for those who weren't able to join, we have with us, let me introduce Ms. Monique Riddle, the Global Recruitment Manager of Ara Institute of Canterbury, one of New Zealand's leading vocational and applied education providers based in Christchurch on the South Island. Again, Monique, thank you so much for being with us today and welcome. I will now hand the floor over to you to walk us through ARA, the programs, the campuses, the student experience, and what makes them stand out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll just share my screen. I think I have to send a request first. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And I will bring up the presentation. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
All good.
Okay. Great. So kia ora, no mai haere mai, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou, ko Monique Riddle tōku ingoa, no titi o maru ahau, ki o tahi tōku kaienga. So kia ora everyone, I have just introduced myself in Te Reo Māori, which is our Indigenous language in New Zealand, and plays a really strong foundation in how we interact with people and do things. So today I'm going to run through some of the information about Ara Institute of Canterbury. So I'll start with some general information about Christchurch and then about Ara and then some program specific information. So if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, there'll absolutely be time at the end if you want to pop your questions into the chat. So just to give you a little bit of information on Otatahi Christchurch. So Otatahi is the Māori name for Christchurch, and we are the second largest city in New Zealand and the largest city in the South Island. But in terms of the rest of the world, we are very small. So even though we're the second largest city in New Zealand, our population is just over 400,000. So small on an international scale. What that means is that we have a really nice, relaxed pace of life and quite a friendly, relational way that people interact with each other, which means that we have a really high work-life balance, and also people enjoy living in Christchurch and Canterbury. We have an international airport here, so we are easily connected to Southeast Asia. We do direct flights from Christchurch to Singapore, which is a key hub for then continuing on to the Philippines. Even though we are small, we are becoming more diverse and we are growing. So 27% of our Christchurch residents are actually born outside of New Zealand. And in 2024, we had just under 10,000 people move to Christchurch from overseas. So we are becoming a more multicultural city, which adds to the vibrancy. But one of my favourite things about living here in Christchurch is how close we are to all the amazing natural resources that the South Island has to offer. Myself, as a skier, I can be at the ski fields within 90 minutes of Christchurch, and then I can be on the beaches within 20 minutes. So it's a very nice lifestyle for those who enjoy getting out into the outdoors, and it's also a really lovely lifestyle here for families. So we refer to our city as the 20-minute city. In terms of the layout of Christchurch, it really only takes 20 minutes to get from the city centre to other areas such as the airport, the beach, or the Port Hills. So again, that adds to that nice work-life balance. We don't spend a lot of time stuck in traffic jams or trying to get from A to B. It's very easy to commute in the city. We have a lot of schools here already welcoming international students. So over 50 schools in primary, secondary, and tertiary education have international students already studying with them. When you compare us to Australia, we are a cheaper option, so 38% cheaper than Sydney. So if you have people who are considering Australia versus New Zealand, the cost of living here is cheaper. And we are starting to see a lot of growth in Christchurch. So New Zealand, some of the economy has slowed down a little bit, but we are seeing regional growth, particularly in healthcare and education. They would be our fastest growing industries in Christchurch, but we're also still seeing a lot of growth in hospitality, administration, tech, logistics, and other professional roles. So for people who are wanting to stay and live in Christchurch after their studies, there is definitely job opportunities available to them. In terms of comparing us to other areas in New Zealand, as a key city centre, we are the cheapest option. So Auckland is obviously quite a lot more expensive than us for rental costs. Wellington is also more expensive. So Christchurch, of the three main cities, is the most economical option for those wanting to rent here and then wanting to buy houses here as well. So that's a little bit of an overview of Christchurch. And one thing I didn't mention as well is that we do have some really fantastic migrant communities in Christchurch. So we have a very welcoming approach to people coming from overseas, and we have some fantastic migrants who are already living here and have set up and established communities, which makes it nice for new international students who are moving to Christchurch. So Ara Institute of Canterbury, we have around 13,000 students in total, and just over 1,000 of them are international students. So still quite a small number in our total numbers. The majority of our international students come from China and India. You'll see on this graph that Japan takes up a high percentage. Our Japanese students are typically studying at Ara for short-term English language courses as part of a group from their partner institutions at home. So our biggest markets are China and India for long-term study. And then Southeast Asia as a whole would be our next highest demographic. But the majority of those Southeast Asian students are from the Philippines, followed by Thailand, and then Vietnam, Malaysia, and we're starting to see a little bit more growth in Indonesia. So totaling of that 1,034 students, we have 48 different countries covered, and they are studying 70 different programs with us. So it's a small, tight-knit community, and they really support each other in their studies at Ara. We have two key campuses for our international students in Christchurch. So Christchurch City Campus is our largest and main campus, and that's right in the city centre. Most of our international students will be studying at this campus. About a 12-minute walk down the road is Manawa Campus, and Manawa Campus is our purpose-built health learning facility. So students who are studying nursing, midwifery, or medical imaging, they will study at Manawa Campus, but they can use the facilities at Christchurch City Campus as well. In contrast, Christchurch City Campus students can't access Manawa Campus because it being a health facility, it has restricted access for students studying those programs only. Then about a 2-hour drive from Christchurch is a small seaside town called Timaru. And this is my hometown. This is where I grew up. And we have a smaller campus there that does welcome international students. However, we don't have a lot because the main programs they would be studying down there are nursing, cookery, health and wellbeing, early childcare education, or English language. So if you have families who are wanting to study one of those programs and they want a smaller town experience, then they might be interested in the Timaru campus. Whereas if you have people who are wanting one of our other programs or a more of an urban city environment, then I would recommend that they study in Christchurch. As I mentioned, we're right in the city centre, and there is a lot happening in our city centre at the moment. In April, we just opened our new Te Kaha Stadium, which is a 30,000 person stadium, and that's about a 3-minute walk from our campus. So a lot of our students are actually working part-time as they study at the stadium doing event work. So that's bringing a lot more people and international acts and sporting events to the city, which is really adding to the vibrancy. Regarding Ara, we are a New Zealand government-owned Category 1 institution, and that is ranked by our New Zealand Qualifications Authority. We've been around for a very long time, since 1906, and we are the largest institute of technology in the South Island of New Zealand. So as I mentioned before, around 13,000 students in total, with just over 1,000 of them are international. We have over 150 study options from certificate to master's degrees, and we have the largest English language school in the South Island. We also offer PTE academic exam centres here. But probably what we're most proud of is our high international student satisfaction rate. So that currently sits at 90%, and we are just in the process of sending a new student survey. So I'm hoping that I can update that with an even higher statistic soon. But our international students really enjoy their experience at Ara and feel very supported in their learning here. So if you haven't heard of the term ITP, it's what we are classified as in New Zealand education. So that's an Institute of Technology and Polytechnic. So we basically refer to ourselves as a technical university. We aren't a university in the traditional sense, one that would be ranked across other universities. We have a more technical, applied learning style of teaching. So yes, we offer all the same qualification levels that a university would, but we teach in a different style. So some of the key differences with how we teach would be our small class sizes. So for our students, they are not learning in a big lecture theatre environment. They are learning in a smaller tutorial style class. It depends on what their subject is, how many people would be in their in their class. This can range from about 16 to 30. What that means for our international students is they are offered a really high level of support. Their tutors get to know them, they get to know where their strengths and weaknesses might be, and they can adapt the learning to better support. It also means that they can ask questions as they go. So different from a lecture theatre environment where they would just have to listen and take notes, and they can ask questions along the way, they can interact. There's a range of different activities in the way they learn, and so they get a really good opportunity to learn in an interactive way. Another key thing for our international students is the small classes allow an opportunity to build some strong social networks. So they're spending a lot of time with the same people every day, and they have a shared interest in terms of the subject that they are studying. So it means that they can make friends within their class, and they feel that they have a good social network, which we know is key to someone feeling like they are set up and able to thrive in their new country where they are studying. We are also practical where we can be. So we consider ourselves applied learning. There is still theory, so students will still have to write academic essays and kind of do that academic focused learning, but where possible, we try to make it practical. This looks different depending on what a student studies with us. Some examples would be our medical imaging students use VR headsets to practice doing x-rays before they actually go out and do it with real X-ray machines. Or our nursing students have a health simulation suite that they work in. And so they are there working in a hospital setup. And their tutors are actually behind windows where they can't see them, but they can hear what the student is saying via the audio system, and they can offer them advice on how they're interacting with their pretend patient in this scenario that they're given. So that allows them to kind of build up their confidence in that role play kind of learning before they actually go out into hospitals and medical centres to shadow real professionals and apply what they've learnt in that practical way. Another example would be our broadcasting students. They actually create and run their own radio station as part of their learning. So that means for them, they get some really real world experience of what it's actually like to not only run a radio station, but also to promote it and to create the content, to ensure that the staffing are available to run the different shifts. And so it really gives them that first-hand experience. So it depends on what they study, how that looks, but we always try to make it practical where we can. We also offer work-based learning opportunities, particularly for students studying degrees. There will normally in their third year be an opportunity for them to go out on an internship or a placement into a real company or organisation as part of their learning. That allows them to get some really good connections in the industry. For a lot of our students, that might actually lead to an offer of employment after they finish studying. And if not, it still allows them a really strong reference and some actual real world experience that they can draw on when they interview for jobs following their studies. So some programs will have this more often. For example, nursing, they will go out every year of their degree, and that's normally a couple of weeks towards the end of the year. Social work students as well will go out quite frequently. Applied science students will go out in their second and third year of the degree. And then when you look at programs like our year diplomas, so our cookery students will normally do a 2-week placement towards the end of their year study, as will our health and wellbeing students will do community placements throughout the year. So it's a really good opportunity for students to network, get some industry experience, and potentially have a strong reference when they graduate, or even maybe a work offer. We offer a range of support for our students. We know that choosing what to study can be a big task, but it's even more daunting if you're moving countries and doing it in a new environment. So for our students, we have dedicated international student advisors. So these staff work only with international students, and they are their first point of contact in terms of pastoral care. So our student advisors will arrange an international orientation for students when they first arrive, and they will spend a full day with the advisors learning about life in Christchurch and what their community support looks like, who they can talk to for different issues or needing support. So they will spend the day with them and really bring them up to speed on what they need to know. It doesn't stop there though. They're available for the students throughout their course of study. So they have an area set up in our student hub, and they are there for students to drop in at any time if they have any issue that they want to know about, or if they need support, say they're wanting to apply for a part-time job and they not sure where to go to or how to go about that. Anything like that, they can pop in and see the student advisors. We also have learning service support, and this is for students' academic needs. So while the advisors take care of the pastoral, the learning services take care of anything academic. And this can be a wide range of services. Maybe a student is returning to studies and they haven't done an academic essay in a long time and they're not sure how to do referencing. They could go in and have a workshop with the learning services team. Or maybe they are a little bit unsure about their assessments and they need some more support. And they offer things like exam strategies, time management, all those different things that are going to help a student with their studies. We also have recreation and sport services. So on our campus, we have a gym, and that's an additional membership that students can add on. We also have a gymnasium, which offers free social sports each lunchtime and a number of free classes. And we have a health centre where there are doctors, nurses, and counsellors on site. So it makes it very easy for students when they get here to have those key services right on campus. We also offer scholarships, which I'll get into more soon, but there's a huge number of support services available. The key message we want our international students to know is that they just need to ask. The support is there, so please don't feel shy, just asking the student advisors and they can point them in the right direction of where they need to go. In terms of our qualifications, we have over 150, so there are a lot, and they range from everything from English language up to master's qualifications. The key takeaway regarding our qualifications is that there will be an entry point for the student. So if they don't have what they need to go straight into bachelor degree study, then there's normally an option to do a 6-month foundation study program, or they could potentially even start with a 1 or 2 year diploma and cross-credit that into the degree. So regardless of where they've finished up in their educational history, there will be a starting point for them. And the way our admissions teams can best advise is if we have not only the academic transcript, but a clear personal statement from the student on what they're wanting to study and why, and what are their goals in terms of career or potentially migration afterwards. And that way our international admissions team can support recommending the most appropriate program for them. So our study interest areas are very vast. The most popular ones with our international students would be business, IT, engineering, nursing, chef training, applied science, and English language. But we offer a wide range more, so feel free to ask us if there's something that a student is interested in and you're not too sure if we have it. If we don't, we'll normally recommend something similar that might be of interest to that student. So some of the popularity of our programs is related to the fact that they're currently linked to the green list. So in New Zealand, we have skill shortage and we require international people to come and fill those roles that we don't have enough New Zealanders to do. So some of the key programs that are currently linked or related to the green list are our construction management, our quantity surveying, our engineering, and then all of our health portfolio. So our nursing, our osteopathy, our social work, our midwifery, and our medical imaging. We also have a number of non-degree qualifications where students are eligible for a post-study work visa. So typically degrees and masters will have those post-study work visa eligibilities, but we also have our graduate diploma and our diploma in construction management, quantity surveying and engineering that have those post-study visas linked to them. This will be changing from November 16th. The government has announced that they will be making more graduate diplomas available or eligible for a post-study work visa. So we will update this as soon as we can to let you know about our wide range of graduate diplomas that are going to have that enhanced eligibility. And we are one of Immigration New Zealand's approved providers for pathway visas. So this means that international students can study up to 3 courses, one after another, on a single student visa for up to 5 years. The upside of this is it reduces the cost and hassle for students. It provides them a little bit of certainty, and it makes the transition between their courses smoother. Unfortunately, we can't offer this for all of our programs. So programs where there are there is highly competitive or selection criteria, we can't guarantee that the student will be able to go from one course to the other. So as an example, if a student was doing 6 months of pre-health before continuing on to apply for our nursing, we couldn't offer a pathway visa letter for that, because we can't guarantee that a student studying pre-health will be offered a place in nursing because it is so competitive. But for a number of our other programs, we can do this. So if a student was maybe studying 6 months of English language training before they went on to study a degree in engineering or a diploma in engineering, then we could have that option of doing the letter of offer so that the student can apply for a pathway visa. Okay, so I will give you a little bit of an overview of some of our key programs. And if I haven't included anything that is of interest, please let me know and I can provide information on that as well. I'll just get through this one. So Kahukura is our engineering, construction management, quantity surveying, architecture and interior design classroom. So any students studying those programs will be studying in this building that you can see here, Kahukura. It's purpose designed, so when you're actually in the building, there's areas of the construction that is open, so the students can see what goes into constructing it. And on that first ground floor, there's also an exhibition space. So this will regularly exhibit students' work, particularly like the architecture students will have their displays up. So they get very used to people encountering their work and giving feedback. There's also an industry networking space where students, there'll be events throughout the year, which will allow students to interact with the industry and make connections and network, which we know is a key thing for those students who are wanting to stay on and work in Christchurch or potentially New Zealand afterwards. So our construction management, as I mentioned before, we have the diploma, the degree, or the graduate diploma. So they have 3 different qualification level options. There is an option for the diploma to cross-credit into the degree if the students don't have the academic requirements to go straight into the degree. Regarding the quantity surveying program, they are accredited by not only the New Zealand Institute of Quantity Surveyors, but also the Pacific Association of Quantity Surveyors. So that actually opens up students' options in terms of if they're wanting to take this qualification internationally. It will be recognised in countries such as Australia, Hong Kong, Canada, Singapore, Japan, and a number of others. Engineering, we offer at diploma and bachelor level, and we have specializations in civil and mechanical and also electrical and electronics. Civil and mechanical are the most popular for us, so we do a February and July intake, whereas electrical and electronics, we have a February intake only. Students need to decide before they apply what specialization they are wanting to do. If they are unsure, please let us know and we can arrange a webinar with one of the engineering academic staff who can give them a little bit more information that might help them with their decision on what they want to specialise in. At the end of the degree, the students complete a capstone project, which is often run in conjunction with industry, allowing them to gain those real-world experiences and contacts that we talked about earlier. Architecture studies has growing popularity with our international students, and they have an option of doing a 2-year diploma or a 3-year degree. For architecture, they need to also submit a portfolio of their design work to allow entry. So it's not just about their academic and their English language, it's also about their portfolio submission. And this program has a February intake only. The first 2 years of the degree are very general, so they will learn a little bit about a lot regarding architecture. And then in their final year, they have the option of specialising So in a few different areas, being construction and technology, architectural science, and computer and design. Our business options range from, well, we actually have some level 3 and 4 business options, but typically for our international, they would be looking for level 5 and above. So we do a 1-year level 5 diploma, which has specializations. Students can decide to pathway that into the second year of the degree if they want to, or they can just do that as a standalone diploma. We also have the 3-year Bachelor of Applied Management, which is the equivalent of our business degree, or we have Graduate Diploma in Applied Management 1-year programs. And just since last year, we introduced our postgraduate business suite. So if a student is wanting to do a postgraduate diploma in applied management or a master's of applied management, we have those options now. So for the degree and diploma, there are February and July intakes, but for the postgraduate and masters, we do 4 intakes a year. So February, April, July, and October. And one thing I didn't mention is there's 2 different durations for the Masters of Applied Management. So there's an 18-month 1.5-year option for students who come from have studied a business undergraduate and have strong results in their studies and have business backgrounds in their terms of the career. And if students are coming from a non-business background, then there is a 2-year pathway. We also do a Bachelor of Accounting, which is a 3-year degree, and this is credited with the Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand. And there's also an option where they can pathway from the diploma in business to the second year of the accounting degree. IT, we have diplomas. The diplomas for IT are different from engineering, which are normally 2 years, whereas these ones are 1 year. And then we have the option of the degree or the graduate diploma. We are hoping that in the near future, we will get a Masters of IT, as we know there's quite a high demand for that. But at this stage, the graduate diploma in IT is the highest one that we have. So for students studying the Bachelor of ICT, so the 3-year program, they do a 45 credit capstone project. And in most cases, that's with a local business, helping them with an IT issue that needs resolving within their organisation. Sustainable practice is quite a unique program for us. We offer this at postgraduate diploma or master's level. The master's is 18 months of study, and it's research-based master's, and it requires a degree in any field with relevant work experience. So all students, they don't necessarily, I think when people think of sustainability, they think primarily about the environment, but it can also be about economical or social sustainability. We actually have a student from the Philippines currently studying this sustainable practice with us, and they came from a banking background. So there's a lot of different ways that people can apply sustainability in their organizations and in their careers. And this is really quite a professional development program. It's quite niche, but it really opens up a lot of opportunities and gives students a bit of an edge on their career portfolio when they go to find employment afterwards. Bachelor of Design, we offer in 3 specializations. Visual communication design, so that would be similar to your graphic design. We also do fashion technology, and we do applied visual art, which would be more the traditional applied visual arts, such as painting, sculpture, and those sorts of things. So as with architecture, students will need to submit a portfolio of their art and design work on application. And we also have pathway options. If students can't go straight into the degree, then they might start with one of our shorter certificates and work their way up. We offer a Masters of Creative Practice. So this is our 3rd Masters. Obviously, the first one was the Applied Management, Sustainable Practice, and then Creative Practice. So creative practice is really for students who come from a creative background, whether that be music, art, design, and as students who are wanting to really take their creative practice to a higher level. So they're not taught the creative skills within this program. They really have to be coming into it with already a strong creative foundation. And there's two different options, master's or postgraduate. If students don't have the sign off to go straight into the master's, then they might start with the postgraduate and then look to extend it. This program requires course advisement with academic staff to ascertain whether the student is appropriate or suitable for the program. So if you have any students interested in this program, please reach out to us and we can connect them with the department for more information. Early childcare education is another option with us. So in New Zealand, to become a registered qualified ECE teacher, you need to have a 3-year degree education qualification. We don't offer the degree at Ara. Instead, we do a level 5 diploma, but we have some relationships with some other tertiary providers and where they will accept our level 5 diploma as equivalent to the first year of their degree. So students can choose to study the diploma with us and then transfer to one of those tertiary providers, and they'll be able to go into the second year of their degree studies. The reasons they might choose to do that is because it's cheaper. So to study with us for that first year as opposed to going straight to a university is a cheaper option. It also means that they have a level 5 standalone qualification. While that won't allow them to be classified as a registered qualified ECE teacher, they can use that qualification to seek and gain employment in an early childcare centre, but they will still be classified as unregistered. But it's a good option if they're wanting to kind of get out there and get their placements. They do 180 hours of supported placements in that level 5 diploma, and that's done in 2 3-week blocks. Our Bachelor of Applied Science is gaining popularity with our international students. One of the reasons for this is because our nursing has become hugely competitive. So a lot of students are now considering also applying for applied science because of the fact it still allows them to work in these health and community-based roles where they are helping people improve their health outcomes. Our applied science degree has 3 specializations. So sport and exercise science is for those who are kind of looking maybe into getting into helping people like elite sports people enhance their performance or getting into coaching, whereas health promotion is more about working within communities and with people to help them increase and improve their health. And then we have human nutrition as the final specialization, and that's working with people specifically regarding their nutrition. So there's a lot of job opportunities, particularly in health promotion. We're seeing a lot of students decide to take this qualification as opposed to nursing or one of the more competitive programs. So Manawa campus, I mentioned, is about a 12-minute walk from our city campus, and this is our purpose-built healthcare learning facility. We share this space with University of Canterbury and the Christchurch District Health Board, and it's in close proximity to the Christchurch Hospital. So students studying there already feel like they're kind of within that healthcare industry. And here we teach our nursing, our midwifery, and our medical imaging. So at Ara, we offer 2 different qualifications for nursing. One is the enrolled nurse, which is an 18-month diploma, and the other is a pathway to become a registered nurse, which is a 3-year degree. So for enrolled nursing, we do 1 intake only in March. And this is a great option for students who are just wanting to get out there and get into the healthcare industry. If a student is considering that they want to maybe take their nursing career into more of a leadership role, then I would recommend they go with the registered nursing. So the registered nursing is a 3-year degree, and registered nurses have a wider scope of practice than an enrolled nurse. So often an enrolled nurse will be reporting to a registered nurse, or there'll be things in their scope that they can't do that only a registered nurse can do. So if a student is wanting a long-term career in nursing where they're considering working their way up in leadership roles, then the registered nursing would be a better option for them. They have a higher starting pay and they have a wider scope of practice. But that's not to say enrolled nursing doesn't offer a great career for people. And we have just recently in New Zealand seen that the scope for enrolled nurses has actually widened so that there's more that they can do within their job responsibilities now. So IELTS for both of these programs is total academic 6.5. It is high because obviously that's a key part, is that they have strong English language skills for working in the health sector. And applicants will also need to include things like referee reports to show their strong character. And because there's an element of work while they're working with vulnerable people, they need to be able to show that strong character. Intake-wise, for the registered nurse bachelor, we do a January, March and August intake. Sometimes that August intake will fall in July. And we also in Timaru offer the March and the July-August intake. So these programs are very competitive. With the registered nurse program, we will normally have around 100 places, but we might receive around 350 applications. And that is total. So that's just not for international students, that's for domestic students as well. So it's very competitive. The intake numbers might change per intake based on capacity for placements and those sorts of things. So it's really important that students put together a strong application, so including a really thought about personal statement on why they want to be a nurse and why they think they'd be good at it, why do they want to study at Ara. And the key thing as well is if they aren't offered a place, not to be disheartened. We have amazing applicants that we can't accept just because there's not places available for them and it's so competitive. So we do recommend that they try to apply for another intake, and also that they consider applying for another health program with us, so that they might do that instead of the nursing if they're not successful with their nursing application. Similar to nursing, our medical imaging is a very competitive program. This is a 3-year degree, and 50% of this program is actually placement-based. So students may be outside Christchurch, which is something they need to factor in terms of their living and the additional cost of maybe doing their placement outside of Christchurch. We typically only take around 30 to 35 applicants per program, and a small number of them maybe international students. So again, like nursing, very competitive. If a student is applying for medical imaging, I would encourage them to also consider applying for another application. For another program. So if a student is ever interested in getting more information, the best thing to do is to jump onto our website, pop in the program name, and when they go onto the program, there's a What Will I Study tab. If they click on each individual course under the tab, it'll show what they're studying. So that gives an idea of what the core courses are that make up a program. At Ara and as a polytech, we're quite prescribed, so different to a university where a student might take a wide range of different papers to complete their qualification. Ours are quite often set up that all students studying this will need to complete these courses. Some programs such as business are different. There's a bit more flexibility for students to kind of pick and choose what courses they want to complete within the qualification, but a lot of our programs are quite prescribed. We also offer information sessions throughout the year. So these are an opportunity for students to attend online and learn more about the programs from the academic faculty. These are based on New Zealand times, but these are an example of the different information sessions we have coming up online that international students can can register to attend to learn more. Additionally, agents who might be interested in learning about a program, they can also attend these. These information sessions are run by the academic teaching staff. So they might not necessarily have the answers to questions that are specific to an international student, whereas they'll be able to offer really great information about the programs. So if you have students attending these who have international specific questions, we encourage them to make a note of those and then to touch base with us as the recruitment managers so we can provide more information. But any program related questions, the academics who run these sessions are extremely expert in being able to answer. On our website, we also have a useful page called Academic and English Equivalents. So this will give a bit of an overview of, based on the country that the student has studied in, what their academic equivalency is into our diploma and degree programs. And additionally, on that same page, there is information about our English language requirements. So most of our programs will give an IELTS as the standard, but we do accept a range of different English language testing for students to show proof of their English language ability. So scholarships, we have been trying to build up more of our international scholarship options. We have a scholarship page on our website where students can actually choose the international filter for the search, and that will show them all of the scholarships that are currently open to international students. From there, they need to still check eligibility because sometimes it might be program or market specific. But we really encourage students to jump onto this regularly as we often get new scholarships, just to see when things open and to apply for as many different things as they are eligible for. So if a student has decided to study with us and they're wondering about where they might live, we have a couple of different options. So students who are 18 to 25 years, we have Otatahi House. And this is our student accommodation that is located just across the road from the city centre campus. And we offer apartment style accommodation here. So a student will be in an apartment and they'll have their own room. They'll share with 4 or 5 others. So they own room, but they share 2 bathrooms between them and they share the lounge and kitchen facilities. And it's apartment style, so they do their own food, their own cooking, but they have everything else kind of taken care of in terms of power, internet. They have a cleaner for communal areas. They have staff on site. So there's secure access staff there to offer support, and those staff will also run regular social events throughout the year for the students to connect with each other. So this is a really nice option for younger students who are wanting more of a student accommodation experience. They can make requests when they apply, and so some students might request that they are with other international students, or some might request that they are just with students of their same gender. And we have sometimes students request to be in apartments with other students studying their same program. We can't guarantee these, but we will always try to accommodate them where we can. So including that information on their application is a great idea. And for students who are studying at Manawa but staying here at Otatahi House, their student ID actually gets them free bus access between the 2 campuses if they don't want to do that 12-minute walk. So that's one option. This one is best suited for students who are studying with us from February to November for the full year. Students who are joining us for the July intake, and they might, there's often not availability by that point of the year, but sometimes there is because we might have students who were just studying a 6-month program with us. For all of our other international students, we would recommend homestay as an option for them. We work with two fantastic homestay providers, and this is where they're placed with a family in Christchurch, and that family will include, they have their own bedroom, but the family will cook meals for them, so that can be 2 or 3 meals per day, and there's laundry facilities, and they get extra things like when they arrive, there's an airport welcome and an orientation and welcome pack, and we do a minimum 4 week stay. So this is a good option for those students who might want to just have that support when they first get to Christchurch, but then they might decide to move into their own accommodation once they know the city a little bit more and know where they want to live and what kind of accommodation they might want to live in. So this is a really good option for students when they first arrive. Oops. We offer a monthly agent update. So this is where agents can join just to receive our newsletters, which will include really important information like program closing dates, if there's scholarships opening that month. We include information about what's going on here for our international students and what's happening in Christchurch. So we really recommend our agents subscribing to that. And that can be one agent from the office who might forward it to everyone else, or you can all subscribe on your individual emails if you want to. So that kind of gives us a bit of an overview. I will just stop sharing my screen now.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Monique, that was incredibly comprehensive. Thank you so much. What a picture of a school that is genuinely invested in its student and its community. So right now we only have one question. Please keep the questions coming in. And while we're waiting for the questions, I think one observation that I can, share is that New Zealand is one of the most exciting study destinations for Filipino students right now. And when Filipino students think about studying in New Zealand, they almost always think about the big universities, Auckland, Otago, and Victoria. And those are excellent choices, I might say. But what I find in my conversations with families and students and with agents, there is a growing segment and um, you know, I think it is underserved of students who are not necessarily looking for a traditional university degree. They want something practical, something that leads directly to a job, something where they are not sitting in a lecture hall for 4 years, but actually learning by doing in a real industry environments with tutors who have worked in the same industry. And I think that is what ARA is built for. And that is something that we're excited for ARA to introduce to our Philippine market. Is that Christchurch is the second largest city and it is actually rebuilding and growing, which means it has genuine demand for skilled graduates in engineering, construction, healthcare, IT, and business, especially high healthcare. You have a campus dedicated for nurses. And for Filipino students who want to study and work, I think Christchurch and ARA is really the most compelling option we can provide for New Zealand.
Yeah, that's a great summary. We definitely, yeah, Christchurch is a fantastic option. We the job Immigration New Zealand increased the part-time hours last year. So previously students could only work 20 hours a week while they're studying, but they've increased it to 25. And so we often, at the start of the year, we normally have like a student carnival, and we quite often have a number of companies coming to that to try to get our students to come and work part-time with them. And because there's so much happening in the rebuild with new stadiums and new sports centres and all these things opening up, and we need staff, particularly students, who can work those roles while they study. So there's lots of opportunities there for them. In terms of Christchurch, we are also becoming more popular with New Zealanders from outside of Christchurch. So we're starting to see more Aucklanders move down here because they understand the work-life balance, the cost of living. But I think Christchurch also has a really fantastic Filipino community already here. So when I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned about our Philippines being the biggest of our Southeast Asian markets, I didn't mention that's just for our international students. We also have a huge amount of Filipino students who are studying at Ara, but they're considered domestic students because they have already
Mm-hmm.
moved here 5 years ago with their family and gone through the permanent residency process. And so Christchurch and Ara has a vibrant Filipino community, and there's a number of events throughout the year. Last year, I went to the Filipino festival that was hosted in Christchurch. It moves between the North and the South Island each year. And so we went to that, and that was a fantastic celebration of Philippines culture. We had a number of politicians attend because the Filipino community is so important to New Zealand and definitely for what the contribution towards our industries where we really need support. But I think also there's a lot of similarities between Philippines and New Zealand culture. Family is
Mm-hmm.
very important for both cultures. And because Christchurch has that great work-life balance, it really offers an opportunity to spend that time with your family and not have to be working 80 hours a week kind of to get by. I think also resilience. For those of you who know Christchurch, we had the earthquakes in our history I think it was 11 years ago, and the city has been rebuilt from that. And that has made people in Christchurch very resilient, which is very similar to people from the Philippines. There's that hard work ethic, but also that resiliency, which is great. So I think for Filipinos moving to Christchurch, there's a lot here. There's a vibrant community also, but already, but there's also a very welcoming New Zealand community who are very happy to have Filipinos join us in our organisations as colleagues and also in our schools as students. But yeah, it's a great time for Christchurch. It's also a great time for studying in New Zealand generally. So we've seen our government is very focused on increasing international education. And so they are bringing in these great new conditions like the increasing of the work hours, the better eligibility for grad diplomas as a way to kind of encourage more international students here because we realise they bring so much to our community.
It's very nice to hear. Well, as you've mentioned, like same with New Zealand, Filipino very family oriented, and wherever we go, any Filipino would find another Filipino to have like sense of familiarity. Like if there's no community yet, we will build one to still feel close to home. So thank you so much, Monique, for sharing that and for letting our prospective students and also agents that are here that there is already a community and I think it is one of the factors that students really consider um, for choosing their providers or their schools. So we have one question from our participants. What are the qualifications for enrolled nursing and is an enrolled nurse in the green list?
Oh, yeah, a good question about the green list. I might need to check that one. Um,
Mhm.
sorry, what was the first part of the question?
Yeah, what are the qualifications for enrolled nursing?
Yeah,
And
so
is
it's that level 5 diploma. So it's an 18-month program and it
mhm,
starts in March only. And so that once they complete that level 5 diploma, they will be eligible to register as an enrolled nurse in New Zealand.
mhm,
I'll have to check on the green list. I know definitely the registered nurses, but I'll just need to check regarding the
mhm.
enrolled. So is that okay if I find that one out and follow up?
Absolutely, yeah. For the one who sent this, we will surely answer your question. I will present it forward the answer from Monique, and this is just our only question for today. But I'm sure many questions will come in. So while waiting, I have another one from me. So is there an age requirement for any ARA programs and are mature age Filipino students or working professionals eligible to apply?
Absolutely. So in New Zealand, we don't have a maximum age for study. So students won't be, it doesn't matter if they're 45, 55, there's no problem at all. So we really welcome mature students. In terms of at the other end, students have to be, we can take students who are 17, but there needs to be some additional pastoral care things that need to be signed off. So typically students would start with us from 18, and then there's no maximum age. So we definitely welcome mature students.
That's nice. And the age wouldn't affect like the visa application, right?
No. So different to Australia, I believe they might have an age restriction, and we don't have an age restriction in New Zealand.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yes.
Well, while we're talking about visa refusals and visa application, have you had any visa refusal for a Filipino student? And if so, what were the common reasons? Also for us to avoid.
Yeah, I'll just bring up this website and just show you guys because this is really helpful. Oh no, that's the wrong one. So Immigration New Zealand, they publish their approval and refusal rates each year. And Philippines, for last year, so in the Philippines, we had, and so this is for all tertiary providers in New Zealand. So we had 1,239 student visa applications, and 5% of those were refused. So there's a 93% approval rate. And so there's a very high approval rate for the Philippines. And just thinking back to what I've kind of encountered, some of the refusal rates might be relating to not being able to show proof of finances. So Immigration New Zealand would expect that outside of paying your tuition fees, a student would have around New Zealand $20,000 for each year of study. So that's what they deem is kind of sufficient to get you through all of your renting and food expenses and all that sort of stuff for the year. So that might be a reason if a student is not able to show that they have that finances, and that might be a reason for refusal. Another reason for refusal, and to be fair, I haven't experienced this a lot with Filipino applicants, but another key reason for Immigration New Zealand is when they don't perceive that the student has a genuine reason or genuine intention to study. So what might trigger that for them is if a student studied something and has a career of something, and they maybe had a master's level qualification already, and then they were applying for a level 4 qualification in a completely different career or program or subject area. So something like that might make Immigration New Zealand consider whether the student has a genuine intention to study. But we do encounter students who change careers and decide that they want to do something different. So we would normally just say, or the agent would normally just advise them that actually addressing that in the personal statement with their submission for their visa, like why is it that they want to study this? And yes, it's different from what they've done, but what is the reason? That can be a good thing to do to kind of front foot it to Immigration New Zealand. So that's the kind of key reasons that we kind of see with why people wouldn't get a visa would be finances, and it's not regarded as a genuine reason or genuine intention to study.
Well, thank you, because we would always say to our team that a school that is honest about visa challenges is a school we can trust. We would rather know the common pitfalls upfront so we can prepare students properly. Rather than have a student go to a refusal that good preparation could have prevented. So, still talking about refusal, would you accept a student who has previous refusal, not just from New Zealand, but also from other study destinations?
So we would normally ask for the reason that they were refused. So particularly for New Zealand, it would be why they were refused before. So maybe the agent would share the letter of refusal with us, and then what steps they have taken to kind of resolve that, and why they think that in this instance, reapplying, they would be okay in that area. So that would be a key one. To my knowledge, like I'm not too sure how much Immigration New Zealand are connected to other countries and that impacts their acceptance here. I would feel that if we were connected to countries, the country we're most likely to be connected to is Australia. But the thing is, I think only recently Australia has become a lot stricter with its visa approvals. So I think in next year and the year after, we'll start to see more people coming to New Zealand who were refused entry from Australia. So I think probably we'd be in a better position next year to know how that impacts their approval here, like, and to get more information about whether Immigration New Zealand are actually looking at other countries. But for us with New Zealand, definitely just sharing that letter with us and letting us know. And then our admissions team will normally make that kind of decision whether they think this is a student that should have an application processed again or potentially not. And one thing I wanted to add as well regarding Immigration New Zealand is that we definitely at the start of this year in February, we saw a lot of delays in the application processing. So we would encourage students to apply with us about 3 months before the intake start date. And that way we can process our side of things and they can get on to doing the visa processing, because it can take up to 9 weeks. We saw it in February take up to 12 weeks for some students. We can sometimes extend the start date, but we would ideally like the student to be there at the start of the program so that they can get the best induction and the best orientation and feel most supported. And so we definitely encourage that students are applying in advance. Some programs have strict application dates with us, so particularly nursing and medical imaging, they will have a cutoff date, so students definitely need to apply. But all of the other programs, we used to take offshore applications like up to about 6 weeks before the start date, but we have started to encourage agents to apply before that, so to allow time for that visa processing. It's more so of an issue in February than it is in July because of the sheer volume of people who are applying for visas with Immigration New Zealand for February start dates.
Okay, that's nice to hear. We'll take note of that. We'll make sure to keep our agents informed that, allow 2 to 3 months, 3 months at least, for us to submit the application before the intake date. Well, thank you so much. So right now we don't have any more questions, but I know that if anyone has questions with the visa programs or the application process, please let us know on the chat box so Monique can address it. So I think if there are any more questions, we can contact you right after this meeting and let you know and see how we can resolve it if there are any concerns. Anything that you would like to add more, Monique, before we wrap this up?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I really appreciate everyone's time, and I know it's a lot of information. So yeah, please feel free to get in touch if you have questions at a later stage. In terms of support from us, if you ever have a student who would like a one-to-one online meeting with you or with their family and with myself, then we can arrange that. And we can also arrange online meetings with the academics if those information sessions that we have, the times don't work. The academics are really happy to kind of get in touch with people and talk them through. And then the other thing is sometimes we find we have people coming over here on holiday beforehand to see whether actually they want to move here. Like, for example, this week I had a man from the Philippines who I took on a tour, and then tomorrow I've got a group of 3 from the Philippines who are here on holiday, and they're going to come and see the campus. So if anyone is ever here, students or agents, and would like to see the campus, please let us know, because we love to take you around and show you the facilities so that you can get an idea I think sometimes seeing the way the students are on campus and observing some of the classes gives you a really good idea and feel whether that's going to be the right place for you or for your students.
Lovely. Yes, that would be really helpful for the students to have a tour before they would really decide if ARA is the good or is the best option for them. Well, again, thank you, Monique, on behalf of Guest Education and everyone who joined us today. This has been a very informative session, and I have no doubt that several people in this room are going to be taking the next step after today. Again, before we go, this recording or the recording of this webinar will be sent to all registrants. If you have any questions after today, whether it is about programs, fees, the visa process, or anything else we did not get to cover, please feel free to reach out to me or to Pau, our country head. We will coordinate with Monique and the ARA team to make sure your questions get answered properly. And if you know a Filipino student who's practical, career driven, and serious about building a future in New Zealand, please share this recording with them and any materials that you would like to add, Monique. If I know that you have a few YouTube videos that we can share to students, um, and I think that ARA is a school that delivers real outcomes, and those students deserve to know that it is an option and it is one of the best option that we can provide. So thank you again, Monique, and the entire ARA team. We are very much looking forward to building this relationship and hoping to see you. I think we will be meeting personally this June.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So I'll be over there end of June, so I look forward to it.
Yes. Well, hoping to see you personally, not just in front of screen, Monique. And we'll discuss more about how we can work together and how we can, get ARA out there and be a top of mind option for Filipino students. So, would
Thank
you
you
like to
so
add
much.
more?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say thank you to Yes Education. We really value your partnership and we're excited to work with you to promote Ara and Christchurch as a study option for Filipino students. So thank you so much for your time. And yes, I look forward to meeting you in person and I look forward to being back in the beautiful Philippines soon.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe we can tour you sometime
Yeah,
around the
that'd be
Philippines,
great.
not just work. Well, we can wrap this up. I don't want to take much of your time, Nick. Have a wonderful day ahead of you, and see you the next. I think the last week of June. We'll see you then.
Yes, thank you, Kakite. Thank you so much.
Thank
Goodbye.
you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.